Hi, my name is Lacey, and this is a digital story of my community experience volunteering at Spears Funeral Chapel. After my initial placement wasn't working out, I was getting nervous that my alternative placement wouldn't be as fulfilling, as I had already begun picturing myself in my initial placement. When I was given the opportunity to volunteer at Spears Funeral Chapel, I wasn't quite sure if I was up to the task. My grandma, who was like a second mom to me, passed away this past summer, and I wasn't sure if I was ready to confront these lingering feelings head on. However, within the first 10 minutes of walking into Spears Funeral Chapel, I felt like I was at home. I was able to open up about my grandma's death and feel comforted as if I were talking to empathetic and understanding family members. During my time at Spears, I helped out several amazing individuals at funeral services as well as a prayer service. This work included welcoming funeral guests to the service and filling in anywhere else that I was needed. I was also lucky enough to have some time to talk with funeral directors and celebrants, as well as other staff, throughout the service preparation and throughout the service as well. The knowledge I gained from these individuals will stay with me forever, and this is no exaggeration. Most of them were like the family I had never met, the distant cousin with whom I would connect with, or the fun uncle who's also really wise and still humble about it. What I learned about this line of work is that if you're in it, you need to be passionate about it, period. These people do not work for the sake of the money. They do this work because they want to make a difference in people's lives. This is similar to teaching in that although it can be emotional and time-consuming, we are there for others. As I wrote in one of my blog posts, I have long carried an inner worry that I won't make a significant enough impact on others' lives during my time on Earth. But after attending a few services and speaking with family and friends of the deceased, I know that it's not as difficult to make a difference as we think. In fact, we often don't notice when we make the most significant impact on another's life. And although the words we choose to speak are important, the ways in which we choose to act toward others can speak louder than words. I have learned that everyone grieves in their own way, and that there is no right way to grieve. Individuals may also grieve in a certain way as a result of their culture. It's important to realize these things as I enter the world of teaching, as we play many different roles, just as a funeral director or celebrant. It is important to recognize that not everyone is going to have the same grieving experience, and that I will need to meet each person where they are at. Through my time at Spears, I have learned that listening and being present in a student's life are good places to start. There was one particular moment where I discovered that not all individuals have access to the same options in a funeral. For example, if the deceased and their family are receiving assistance from social services, they may not be able to afford the casket or urn that the deceased desired. This tells me that this dynamic in society privileges some and marginalizes others. Does this mean that they lived a less meaningful life? Absolutely not. And does this mean that the celebrant or the one leading the honoring of one's life will put in less effort in doing so? No. However, it is sad to me that even in the honoring of one's life, there is not access to equal funding. In a way, I think funerals are really beautiful. Despite the social constructions created and placed on a person, no matter how positive or negative and how true or false these may be, a life cannot be quantified as more or less meaningful than another. Each individual plays a different role in society and has unique experiences. I think that this is something that will begin to encourage me in my everyday life and the way I interact with others, because if I can't make a worldwide difference, at least I can make a meaningful small one.
Created using Powtoon.